Hey guys, this is TJ, and you're listening to the Bamsters Podcast. Remember, with great podcasts comes great entertainment. Boom, 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 boom.
All right. Hello and welcome back. This is episode 127 of the Bamsters Rated R Podcast. This is Draconis, and with me today I have Genius.
Hey, everybody.
All right. So, continuing in the voice, are we?
Probably not. Yes, hi, everybody. It's, episode 127, the week of something, Saturday. That means it'll be the 14th when we release this. Wow, time is flying when you're having fun.
I thought it was time is fun when you're flying.
Now you're thinking about the Kermit the Frog version. Time's fun when you're having flies.
That was it. All right, well, first up, we've got a couple of newsy bits for you, then we'll take a quick little break, and when we come back, TJ and I are going to be talking some ComicShop Talk.
Ooh, has been anything interesting in the ComicShop Talk thingies?
Always interesting, but you'll have to stay tuned to find out what.
Please tell me you're covering the Batwoman thing. Wow, there's a lot of idiots out there.
Oh, that'll be one of the discussions, don't worry.
So, what do we have? What newsy things?
Three quick topics before we turn it over, and they're all kind of pretty intermingled and related this week, so no need for some complicated and last-minute figuring out of segues. But so we'll start out with Bethesda has announced that Fallout 76, they're saying it's not coming to Steam, and basically it's going to be available on Bethesda.net. And so it looks like they're moving to do their own launcher for all their games, much in the same vein as like EA has Origin, Ubisoft has Uplay, and of course Epic Games for like Fortnite. This isn't necessarily anything new, but this is just another publisher, at least in my mind, it's another publisher that's breaking away from Steam. My best guess would be part of the reason they're doing that is so they don't have to pay the fees to Steam anymore. And they're big enough and they've got a big enough following that they can do that.
Yeah, it's weird that this is news because Battle.net has existed for ages, and as you said, Origins, etc. itch.io, I hope everybody has that installed. Which is the other ones? God, Galaxy Client, yeah. So it's not really a thing, is it? It's kind of a, okay, there's one more. Meh.
Yeah, I think it's just big news because people were expecting Fallout 76 to come to Steam. And it might still come to Steam. The rumor is that they'll release on Bethesda.net for a certain period of time, and then at some point it may later come to Steam. So if you're someone like myself who wasn't planning on buying it when it first comes out anyway, you're going to wait for mod support, then possibly it may come to Steam by then. We don't know. And the reason that people believe that is because things like Elder Scrolls Online and what was the other one? Like Fallout Shelter. Originally, those didn't start out on Steam, but they did eventually show up on Steam.
I also think I don't play those games with mods, but other games that I do play with mods, except Kerbal Space Program, we get all the mods from Steam, actually.
Yeah, in the workshop there.
Yeah. So it's one of those, they're also going to bifurcate the mods, if there will be mods for Fallout 76. Still not. I haven't seen that confirmed. Are they going to expect people to upload them in two places, or one party or the other is going to miss out on all the mods, console style? So that's not a good place for them to be, I think.
I think if my best guess at this point is I would not be shocked. In fact, I would kind of expect that they're probably, as they're modifying their launcher, I would expect that they're probably going to have some type of workshop type thing where you can upload your mods to their launcher and people can pull them. If not, then it may be just a case of things like with Elder Scrolls Online right now, it's not part of the launcher. You go find the mods separately on your own, and then inside the game you just enable them. And then maybe...
Yeah, I have that on Fallout 4. I have to go to a website that does not work. It is broken as fuck. Has been all the time. And choose mods. And then every time I want to choose a mod, it has to reload the whole thing. It takes an age. And then eventually go to the game and say, oh yeah, okay, activate the ones that I'd chosen before. That is not a good experience.
Yeah, I prefer being able to just go right into the game or even into Steam Workshop and pull things and then just enable them in the game, and usually it works better that way. I know with some of the stuff, like with Conan that I've done with some mods there, that people generally tend on the Steam Workshop to keep those things updated pretty well. And whereas it's been a while since I've played Elder Scrolls Online, but I know I'll get back to it eventually because I still have so much content to get through on there. Sometimes going back to refine the mods and find a current version that's working is a bit of a chore that's sometimes more of a pain than it's worth.
Can't imagine. Yeah, KSP has been the same. It's been a nightmare keeping mods up to date and dealing with breakage and mod developers being intelligent and basically effing things up, especially for us on the Mac side. So, it's just, these are games. Bethesda's games are known for people wanting to mod them. Starting to come out on different platforms is going to hurt them. And I could even imagine people just going, if the Bethesda platform will only upload them to Steam, something like that. If that's a thing. Again, I don't play these games on PC. Fallout 4 I have on a console. But there's some potential risks. It'll be interesting to see how all that ends up.
I don't know. I mean, a long time ago, a lot of these companies, they just... before all this whole live service stuff was going on, before Valve went from making video games to developing and Steam and focusing on that, these... all these publishers, they were publishing things themselves separately. They weren't releasing them into a mass marketplace. So it almost seems like they're kind of going back to that. You know, they want to have their own launcher. I've said before, I don't like having half a dozen launchers, but I don't have a lot of control over that. If I want to play these games, I'm going to have these different launchers on my system. But there may be some light at the end of the tunnel for how we can access these games, and we'll get to that after our next topic.
Just saying you should get a PC. Oh, sorry. Stop using a PC. You should get a console. Because I have one launcher on my console.
Yeah, I have 2 consoles. And as much fun as I do have playing those games, I just don't find enough time to sit down with those because most of the stuff I want to play is on PC. And we've had this conversation ad nauseum. I can't stand playing any type of shooting game on console. Sorry, dude.
You're just broken. But yeah, I can see that you want to wait until Fallout 76 is out with mods, so at that point you can probably just buy a used copy of it down at the local game store.
Well, maybe not.
Care to explain?
I was pausing for dramatic effect. We need like a little dun dun dun. No, this was one of our other newsy topics today. It's also Bethesda related that we saw their legal firm. And can we pause for a second because I don't know exactly how to pronounce this, but their legal firm is spelled Vorys, which to me looks like Voorhees, which sounds suspiciously like Jason Voorhees. There, see, we need another dun dun dun. But so anyway. So anyway, they send some guy a letter who had purchased The Evil Within 2. Apparently he never opened it. He put it up on, was it Amazon to resell the copy in brand new condition. And he gets a letter from Bethesda's legal firm to take it down, saying that he was not an authorized reseller and that the sale would be unlawful. Also, the other thing they put in there said that by him tagging it as a new or game in new condition, that it was false advertising. And they're saying this because they're saying it doesn't include a warranty.
Okay, so this is utter bullshit. Just sorry. I am assuming this happened in the US, so there you have what is called and enshrined in law the first sale doctrine, which is basically you bought a copyrighted product, you can sell that on. The copyright holder has the right to sell the first one, but you have the right to resell it, as long as you've not materially changed the copyrighted content. Warranty is not a part of the copyrighted content. Warranty is part of the overall product. Notice the difference? That argument is utter fucking bullshit. I am not a lawyer, I'm not your lawyer, I'm not any of the listeners' lawyer. That is nonetheless how the law has been interpreted in the US in the past.
See, now I'm going to give him your number so he can call you up and you can represent him.
Also, I had read about this. That thing alone is reason enough for me to not want Anthem. Anthem, not want Fallout 76, but instead get Anthem.
I was gonna say, is this what we call a Freudian slip?
Yeah. Those are the two games from E3 that I was waiting for the most. And right now, I have no interest in Fallout because of this, or any Bethesda games, because that is an utterly bullshitty position for them to take. And it's going to not work over here where I live, because even digital games can be resold if you follow, depending on the country, you follow the rules and court decision. To the point, for example, music, digital music, can be resold. If you want to open a music store in Germany, you have to be able to allow people to resell the MP3s or whatever they download.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I don't immediately go to that, oh, well, screw them, I'm not buying their stuff then, just because, well, a couple reasons. One, personally, I don't resell this stuff. It isn't worth the time or effort. Two, this is their legal department, and I question, like, who made this decision, and because the guys involved in the development, they've got their heads down, they're working on the games. Hell, they probably didn't even know about this until the story broke. Of course, there are execs that probably had some idea this was going on, or maybe this was some kind of blanket policy they were trying to apply. But the weird part about that is, if it was a blanket policy, there's other people who have the same game up listed on Amazon for sale. They're not being targeted by this. So that's weird, because there are folks that are selling used and new copies of that same game, The Evil Within 2, but they haven't received letters from the legal team.
Here's the thing, Robert A. Altman, one of the founders of Bethesda, it doesn't matter that it's coming from his legal team. He's responsible. He's their boss. This did not go out without his approval. This is Bethesda ZeniMax's decision. I'm sorry, but stuff like this doesn't move forward without people at the absolute top hearing about it, knowing about it. I'm not saying Todd Howard knew about it, for example. He probably did. He's high enough up in that company. But that doesn't matter when the CEOs decide we want our company to be absolute dickheads. Then it falls on us consumers to say, you do that, we're gonna leave.
Oh yeah, I get what you're saying. I'm thinking this is probably something more along the lines of a policy that maybe was overly applied on a particular individual versus, across the board like it probably was supposed to be. And yeah, the higher-ups were probably aware of this type of policy. I'm just saying that, whoever set out this individual...
Nope, they still have responsibility.
All right, I'm not absolving them of responsibility. I'm just saying that to say that they're aware of every single individual action and decision that happens by, their underlings throughout, every day, I think that probably isn't exactly as close to the truth. I think this is probably some kind of policy that they're aware of, that they probably helped to institute and still hold responsibility for.
Bro, your intention to play their games is showing. No. Okay, so he did not know about the details of this particular instance. Irrelevant. They're working for him. They're doing this on Mr. Altman's request, at least to implement a policy.
That I agree with, yeah.
If they're implementing it wrong, he has to come out quite quickly, quite hard and say, we did that wrong. That was a fuck-up. I've not seen that happen. So I'm standing by. As long as he's not saying that is absolutely wrong of us, that is his support of it. So, no, at this point, us consumers should vote with our wallet and walk away.
Well, I will say that at the time of recording this, the article I read just came out today, and of course we're recording on a Saturday. So yeah, within the next couple of days, I would hope to see something from Bethesda, some kind of statement. The article I was reading was from Polygon. They said they did reach out to Bethesda, but they didn't, they declined to comment at the time. So I would hope sometime within this week, maybe even by the time that this episode airs, we would hear something from Bethesda about this, and whether or not that something is, no, we hold to this policy and they want to be dicks about it, or, this policy was implemented in a way that we didn't intend and have since rescinded the letter, which is what I would hope. Because, realistically, whether you have a collection of DVDs or video games or artwork, like you said, the person who made it sold it, you bought it, and now you decide you want to sell it to somebody else. there shouldn't be anything wrong with that. You're not modifying it. They're still getting the product as it was when you got it.
There's no material changes to the copyrighted content.
So anyway, I think with regards to that, we may circle back around to this again in a later episode if we hear about it or not. But jumping back to what we were talking about earlier with Bethesda leaving Steam, Discord had an announcement this week as well. They're now going to be working on a storefront to sell games.
Yes, you just complained that there's too many of these individual ones from each publisher, and now there's yet another one, Discord.
And yet, here's why I'm not complaining about Discord. I already use Discord. But here's the other cool thing. And this is why I kind of like the fact that Discord is doing this. In addition to them having their own store, and we'll get into some of the details about how that's supposed to work, they're also, and they already have some of this functionality built into Discord, they're setting it up. Their intention is that you'll be able to launch many, if not hopefully all of your games, or most of your games anyway, using the Discord app, even if it requires some other type of launcher. So whether or not you have something like Titanfall on Origin, or Ghost Recon Wildlands on Uplay, or, some other game on Steam, or Fortnite and Epic Games, I can go on and on. It recognizes the executables that are on your hard drive. It will then launch, if the launcher needs to be running, it will launch that and then launch the game. So I'll still have a central place to launch all my games and see where they're all at.
Yeah, it's interesting. I thought when they first announced that, I hadn't read the news. My first thought actually went to Resale, who's also selling games. But they are selling Steam codes, at least to the extent that they can. You get a Steam code, they don't have their own launcher. And I was sort of expecting Discord to be doing basically the same, because I guess that's what Twitch do as well. If you buy a game on Twitch, i.e. somebody is streaming and go, oh, this is a good game, click buy and support the streamer, then you also just get a Twitch code. I sort of thought Discord would have gone that direction.
No, it sounds like they want to have their own storefront, and they're similar to Twitch. They're going to be offering a subscription service where you'll have access. If you pay that, I think it's $5 a month or $50 for the whole year. You'll get access to certain free games. It sounds like it's just going to be maybe a small offering of older games, or at some point maybe it'll be a large offering of older games. So there's also going to be a subscription service where you'll have access to all kinds of other things to play that you won't have to pay extra for, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't like those, but that's probably because of PlayStation Plus. Just this notion, pay us some money and we'll give you some free games. Yeah, but I don't want to play the games you're giving away for free, so it doesn't help.
That's one of the reasons why I haven't jumped on any of the subscription services yet. There are some cool ones out there. I know we've even talked to some folks like from Utomic. They have, some really cool things going on. But with regard to that, a lot of times I want to be able to play a specific game either right when it comes out or, in the case of Fallout, later on when mod support comes with it. And if it's not part of the subscription, if all of the games that I'm wanting to play are not going to be part of a specific subscription service, then it doesn't make it worth it for me to buy that in addition to buying the games.
Yeah, kinda. On the PlayStation Plus, it's, I was one just again, was it IGN or somebody who put out an article? Oh, here's why you should buy PS Plus. You get $1,000 worth of games. Yeah, but if I don't want to play them, they're not worth it. And it's the same here. We'll give you so and so much games. Yeah, but if I only play one out of all these, and that's a 10-15 euro game, if I pay €50 for that, then that's a waste. So I don't like these structures because they're just money grabs in many cases.
Yeah.
Again, these companies are supposed to make money, but they are a little bit too blatant, a little bit too nasty. And I can only assume in case of Sony, all the marketing effort and influencer effort they're going through to get people to constantly write articles arguing that this is perfectly okay. That just leaves a sour taste in my mouth.
Well, the thing about this, I will say, is it's part of their Nitro subscription, from what I understand. So if you're someone who's already paying for the added features you get on Discord with Nitro, then the free games are basically just that. They're an added bonus. but I don't know that it's something I would pay for specifically just for the games. But some of the added features in Discord, plus the addition of a library of games, could definitely make it worth it for folks.
Yeah, and that's, on Twitch, that's sort of my view as well. I don't pay for Twitch to get those games. We pay for Amazon Prime and happen to get a Twitch Prime thing on top of that.
Yep.
And therefore also they're free games.
But, so the other cool thing that they're going to be doing this, or their intention, what I was reading, is that they're also going to be doing some kind of indie market. And so what I was reading, they're calling it First on Discord. It's basically they're going to allow or curate indie titles that will be available exclusively on Discord for the first 3 months, first 90 days. And then afterwards could show up in places like GOG or Steam or wherever else that they're going to sell them.
So, our friends over at Another Indie, which is a publisher focusing on, indie games. And one of their games, Sinner's Sacrifice for Redemption, will actually be on this. And I'm kind of sort of looking forward to it. It's one of those boss battlers, There isn't all the minions to slog through, there's just bosses that you fight. One, that's an interesting game unto itself, but then seeing that come up on Discord and having that, 3 months exclusivity on Discord's new storefront, interesting to see. But it kind of shows that, they're going out there, they're getting some of the interesting indie games into it. They're also getting some, should we call them AA level games? But the one that really stood out for me, was Sinner Sacrifice for Redemption.
Yeah, I think the thing with this is I'm not really a big fan of exclusives to any particular platform or launcher. I completely understand why they do them, because everybody is so impatient, especially nowadays, that you got to have it right when it comes out. So if you have that 90-day exclusive, then people are likely going to buy it from you. So from a business standpoint, I get it. I'm just not fond of it because I like being able to go where I want to purchase it and have that kind of freedom. But I think that was a smart deal, and it looks like the other thing they're doing too is that they're going the opposite direction of Steam, where Steam has said it's just going to become a free-for-all, and we're going to let people publish whatever they want to publish, as long as it doesn't break certain terms of service. Then they're actually supposed to be, at least with Discord, they're doing the opposite. They're saying they're going to curate that library, so they're going to be paying attention to and making decisions on what's going to be released through the Discord store.
Much like Spotify do with their podcasts, which was why Alec Jones and InfoWars was there.
Never listened to either one of those things, but I have a feeling you're trying to take this in a political direction.
Oh no, I'm just saying, just because it's curated doesn't mean that there isn't absolute shite on it.
Oh yeah, well we have to hope and have a little bit of faith in the guys at Discord that they do a little better job of curating it, but I guess we'll see.
And I agree with you. I am opposed to the notion of exclusivity, even to some degree timed exclusivity. I love this. That was Microsoft presentation. They actually done that a few years in a row at E3. They'll go out and say, yay, we have exclusives. And then you have all the gamers sitting down, and journalists of course, sitting down in the audience clapping, go, yay, we have exclusivities. Which is basically them saying, yay, other people don't get to play the games that we get to play. It's like, what kind of game attitude is that? No, we want to play all the games, all of us. Let's share the fun, the love, and all of this. So exclusivity, particularly seeing gamers cheering exclusivity, is just stupid, and it breaks my little black heart. But this kind that Discord is doing, if that helps indie games achieve a little bit better sales, wider recognition, gives them a little bit of money. Timed exclusivities are usually high. We'll pay you to have a timed exclusivity. If the developers that are struggling a little bit get that little boost and can get their game out, then I'm kind of sort of for it. Even though, generally speaking, exclusivity stinks.
Yeah, in a word, that's a pretty good word for it. I'm not a big fan of it, and I think a lot of people who get caught up in that exclusivity are fans of a particular platform, and so they're excited that they get to play the game, and because they get to play it, they don't really care that other folks don't get to play it. But yeah, I don't get that. I mean, look, if you if you're a console guy and for whatever reason, maybe it's the controller, maybe it's the hardware on the console, depending on which one it is that you prefer. Maybe the controller buttons make more sense one way or is more comfortable to hold. It'd be great if you could play whatever games you wanted to play on any platform.
Quite right. And on that bombshell, as Clarkson likes to say, that's the news. Coming up, Drag's gonna stay because we tied him to a chair. TJ is gonna join him, and they're gonna talk about comic stuff. I think they'll be breaking the latest news on Comic-Con.
Well, we're definitely going to talk to TJ about his experiences this year. He was there, and I ended up having to skip out on it for some family stuff. But yeah, we're going to talk to TJ about that. As you mentioned before, we'll talk about the drama with Batwoman and a few other things as well. So stick around after the break. I will be right back.
And this was G.
Ciao.
The Bamsters rated our show. Like, comment, and subscribe. Do it. Bacon commands you.
All right. Back from the break, and TJ's tied to the chair next to me now.
If I must, I must.
So we're a little bit later in this. We'll talk about his experience at Comic-Con this year. I missed out on most of it due to some family stuff, but TJ got to run around and check some stuff out, so we'll get a chance to talk to him about that. But before we jump into that, I think we're going to call this episode Comic Controversy, because there's just one topic after another, it seems, that is so controversial lately.
It's because we can't have nice things.
Oh, yeah, well, I guess we'll start with that thought. TJ just showed me something, a topic we were going to talk about here, the whole controversy over Batwoman, and he just showed me an article that I guess now Ruby Rose has left Twitter. So if you hadn't heard, Ruby Rose, famous for her roles on Orange is the New Black, and I think she was in one of the Fast and Furious movies.
And she's in the Meg in theaters now.
Was it Fast and Furious or no? It was Triple X. It was last Triple X. Yeah,
that's the ticket. And the Meg in theaters now.
Can we pause there real quick? Just because I think I may have said this before, but I still find it hilarious. I like Jason Statham, but I just find it hilarious that he was talking bad about Marvel movies.
Oh, yeah.
Fighting these big CGI villains, and then he does this movie where he's fighting against a big CGI shark.
He's full of crap. That's fine.
So, anyway, back to the whole thing with Batwoman. So, this is a character I don't know a ton about. Growing up as a kid, I didn't read a lot of DC comic books. I was more into Marvel, and then
this iteration of Batwoman wasn't around when you were a kid.
Well, right, but and so even in recent times when I've started to pick stuff back up again, I still haven't picked up too much on the DC side, other than for the little one when we go and we'll pick up some Wonder Woman stuff from time to time. But my understanding of the character and the way that this was introduced is that the character is very much about social justice. And so they've cast Ruby Rose, and you've got one side of the insanity going, oh great, another social justice warrior character, do we really need all of this? And then, surprisingly to me, you have the complete opposite side of the spectrum saying she's not gay enough, or she's too pretty. And that was how she apparently left Twitter, was saying that, people are saying that she's not gay because she identifies as gender fluid. And she's like, I came out, I think she said when she was 12 or 15 or something like that, and nothing has changed except for apparently people's perception of her.
Well, that's because first, let's be honest, people suck. I'm sorry, man. People suck. No, this is a really, really crappy situation. First of all, for those who say, oh great, another social justice warrior, I've said this on the show before, I will say it again. All superheroes are social justice warriors. From the moment Captain America debuted and punched Hitler in the face, every superhero exists to combat social justice. So, and social injustice, I should say.
What's one of the most famous taglines in comics history?
Well, if you see a Nazi punch a Nazi...
no, I was referring to Superman. The introduction for Superman.
He fights for truth, justice, in the American way.
Justice in the American way. Come on.
No, absolutely. And look, the American way has thankfully evolved so that the American way involves everybody, as it should. It's a really crappy situation.
But see, and here's the thing about this character, right? Guys like us are fortunate because we grew up with a lot of characters that we could identify, find different facets of our personality in different characters. And for a lot of folks, that was a lot more difficult because none of these characters looked like them, had anywhere near the same kind of life experiences and stuff. And now comics are starting to branch out and be more inclusive. So, yeah, okay, I'm not a fan of saying this isn't for you, but I'm not a fan of that when it comes to things like redoing something that was done a long time ago. This particular character was created in recent history, and from the sounds of things so far, at least the way they've introduced how they intend to portray the character, this seems to be sticking true to the ideals of that character. So maybe this one, in this case, I can say, maybe this isn't for you, and you don't have to watch the show, but this is going to be for at least, a significant percentage of the population.
Absolutely. Now, this might be an unpopular opinion. There are things about the Batwoman character that I don't necessarily care for, but it has nothing to do with the fact that A, she's a woman, and B, she's a lesbian. In fact, I think that those are two really, really important aspects of the character that maybe we need to see more of in mainstream superhero comics. Not just mainstream comics, but specifically mainstream superhero comics. Because there are so many people who still read that stuff, and there are people who say, oh, well, nobody reads comics anymore. Believe me when I say they do. And if you have kids seeing what the world is really like through their favorite superheroes, that's a great thing. That's a great teaching tool. And we need more of that for sure. But this is just awful. I hate hearing things like this. I hate hearing people, become so toxic that they run people who are literally getting to live their dreams, off of social media because they're getting to do something that makes their heart flutter. Like, God, we should all be so lucky to get to do things like that. So this is wrong. It's unacceptable. And I hope that this doesn't affect her performance, what she brings to the table. Because I'll say it, she's perfect for the role. She's perfect for the character. And I hope they can figure out a way to add a little longevity as far as live action goes for her. That it's, not just appearances on Green Arrow or on The Flash, but that we get more than one season out of a show for her, because,
Well, and I think that's to me, that was
necessary.
That was one of, the important things is, this is a character who, yes, is going to make guest appearances on these other shows, but is going to have their own show.
Yeah.
If this is such a negative thing to you, don't watch it. You don't need to be so toxic online. I'm so tired of all this toxicity. It's insane. Yeah. Listen, AI is going to learn everything it needs to know about humanity online, and the more and more we do this shit, the closer we get to Skynet, where they just want to nuke the shit out of us, because why?
Look at HAL 9000, right?
Yeah.
He knew what he was doing. So, I hope this all works out for her. Again, like I said, there are things that they've done with the character in the comics that aren't necessarily my cup of tea, but she's not the only one who has gone through that. There are a lot of characters who have suffered from poor writing that affect the character as a whole. But I really, really, really hope that all this does well, not just for Ruby Rose, not just for the team on the show, but for the fans who this character has so much value for and means so much to them. That it's so, so, so important. And truth be told, I'm just gonna say it real fast. For the longest time, the reason why I didn't care for the character is I like keeping the Bat family of characters very, very, very small. I like it very, very tight, and that's it. It's Batman, it's Tim Drake as Robin, it's Dick Grayson as Nightwing, it's Barbara Gordon in the Oracle role, Cassandra Cain as Batgirl, Alfred, and maybe sometimes the Spoiler and the Huntress, but that's getting too much. 6 has always been enough, and that's it. The other thing that I'm not a fan of is giving Bruce Wayne blood-related family. I don't care for Damian, and I don't care for the fact that they made Kate Kane Bruce's cousin. Because if Bruce has blood-related family out there, why did nobody step in to help take care of him after his parents died? It leaves a lot of plot holes. It leaves a lot of bad storytelling in there. And I didn't care for shoehorning another character into the Bat family who has nothing to do with the Bat characters at all, wearing that symbol, but not a part of the actual characters. So that was the only thing I've never liked about Batwoman. But I'm sitting here talking about how I really hope that the show does well for the fans where that character means something to them. And in that sentence, there's that realization of, and that's why having her wear the Bat symbol is so important. So now it has to do well, because there's no other character that has such mainstream attention like Batman does that gets to have an opportunity to help change perspective. So, yeah, the things that I didn't necessarily care for as far as introducing, like, shoehorning in new characters to the Bat family that didn't need to be there, now it's the reason I want this to do well. So, even in the last couple minutes, my mind can change, and that's great.
And I don't want to take away from that revelation, but I do want to. I want to highlight something you just said there.
Mm-hmm.
You just acknowledged the existence of Damian Wayne.
Oh, I acknowledge it. It means that I just don't like him.
No. How many times have you told me there's no Robin after?
There is no Robin. Notice I called him Damian Wayne, not Robin. I said Tim Drake as Robin. I said Damian Wayne.
AKA
the character who shouldn't exist.
So, speaking of Robin and things written poorly, be prepared to hear TJ's epic sigh on this. The kids put the earmuffs on, or parents, if you're the whole fuck Batman drama.
Oh man, I mean, where do I begin? First, I know exactly where to begin. I have been so positive about this show for the last couple months. If you guys have been tuning in and listening, where a lot of people have been so just awful and toxic about set photos, about Starfire and Beast Boy and all that. That's set photos, man. Set photos don't mean anything. So that crap was nonsense. And I still stand by that. That crap was nonsense. People who are making those judgments based on the set photos can go take a long walk off the short pier. But, yeah, as far as the trailer drop went, that was a really hard one for me. So anybody who knows, Dick Grayson is my favorite superhero. Nightwing or Robin, I don't care. Nightwing is one of those characters who really, really means a great deal to me. So, seeing that first trailer where, pardon my language as it were, but hearing, Robin say fuck Batman to the question of where's Batman is frustrating. Seeing, Robin...
Seeing Robin shooting people?
Yeah.
Like,
and I mean...
Not with his own gun, but like taking a gun from some guy.
And look, sure, there's context. I get it.
Yeah.
Trailers don't do anything as far as context goes. Trailers are done to get you to be excited or to feel something about something. I get it. But I've said it. I've said it on social media, and I still stand by this. The portrayal of Robin in that trailer is so Batman versus Superman that it's just tone deaf. They haven't listened to the way people have felt post Man of Steel and post Batman versus Superman. I'm living in a world where Wonder Woman is the best DC movie and Shazam is looking like it's going to be right up there. Why do I want this in Robin? When you think DC superheroes, usually the first two characters you think of off the top of your head are Superman and Batman. Sure. When you think character with no powers, you think Batman. When you think the superhero, you think Superman. You think female superhero, you immediately think Wonder Woman. When you think a kid superhero, you think Robin. So these characters are archetypes in a way that no other character gets to be. There are other superheroes who are kids, for sure. I mean, Spider-Man was a teenager, but the thing about Spider-Man is he is a teenager who's playing at being a man, whereas everything about Robin is being a kid. There's a completely different way of that.
Oh, and the Robin character starts out, I think, probably quite a bit younger, too.
About 9-10 years old, whereas Peter is 15.
Yeah.
But the point of all of this is, sure, at this point, Dick is probably about 18, 19 years old, and it's pretty obvious that the character is going to make the transition into Nightwing in the show. So yeah, there's going to be the bad blood at that point between Bruce and Dick for sure. But man, it's so super, super tone deaf. They're just, they're missing the complete point.
Well, and looking at this, it looks like he's playing some kind of detective to start out with.
From what I'm gathering, it looks like he's doing some social working.
Oh, you think it's social work versus...
It could be a cop because one of the characters from when Nightwing was a cop in the Nightwing comics, Amy Rohrback, who was a detective on the squad that Dick was in, she's on the show. So maybe he's playing a cop as well. Maybe he's a social worker working with the police in there. But,
yeah, I don't know. I kind of think, I don't know. Obviously, I'm interpreting a lot from what I was seeing, but it really looks like the way that they've dressed him and in the background, like some of the set design, really looks like they're setting him up as some kind of police detective.
Plenty of social workers working in the police station wearing that stuff too. I don't want them to lose sight of what makes Dick Grayson such a special character, and a big part of that is the fact that he's not like Bat. And that's not a bad thing. It's just who he is. And having him get all, grim and dark like that and everything, you're just making him Batman Jr. And the whole point of Robin and what makes him special is he's not like Batman. And Batman would want that. So,
yeah.
I just... Look, I'm still going to tune in. Robin still looks great. As far as I'm concerned, it's the best looking live action Robin ever. Hawk and Dove still look great.
Well, speaking of that, now we're in the trailer. This is the first time we're getting to see Beast Boy and Starfire.
Yeah.
Really, as you would expect them to be.
I'm not necessarily feeling Starfire's the way they're making her powers look. Yes, fire is in her name. She does not make fire. People working on this show. She has energy bolts, star bolts. That's what they're called. I don't know. I am still willing to. I'm still willing to give this a chance because, again, trailers don't really prove. It doesn't prove anything. But the probably one of the biggest turnoffs outside of, well, I guess indicative to what they're doing with Robin, the TVMA thing. Man, not feeling it, dude.
Yeah, you would have thought they would have tried to target at least
TV-14.
Yeah,
I get that,
but it definitely it's going towards a more adult oriented audience.
If the audience who watches Flash and Green Arrow and Legends of Tomorrow can't watch this, that's a problem. And I've said it before. If you are telling a story with Superman that a kid can't go to a movie and watch, you're missing the point of Superman.
Well, and it looks, if judging solely by the trailer...
I keep leaving Supergirl out of the shows. I'm sorry about that, Supergirl.
I'd say based on the trailer, I think that probably the reason it gets the mature rating in part is going to be some of the violence, but also the horror elements.
The violence, cool. I'm down with it. The horror elements, I'm down with it too.
Well...
But there's still... You still have to remember that these are DC superheroes.
Right, no, but my point is you can do the violence in a way that doesn't hit that mature rating, but I think that the horror stuff is probably also another reason why it's pushed.
I don't know. I think you can still do... It's like doing television horror.
Well, yeah.
Television horror isn't the same as, movie horror. I mean, it's not even the same as, Showtime television horror. There's a difference between... I don't know... Gosh, what's a horror TV show there? Oh, The Exorcist was really, really good. And I didn't think that show would be good, but it was great. But there's still a difference between that and what John Carpenter and Mick Garris and all those guys did on Masters of Horror on Showtime. So there is a difference between the two, and I think somewhere Titans could be in the middle. Look, I want Trigon to be scary. Trigon is one of the scariest villains in the DC universe, so... If Raven's in the show, clearly Trigon is it.
Has to be at some point, yeah.
That's what I want. And look, there's a part of me that's still excited for this. We're getting a live-action show that has Dick Grayson and that has Donna Troy. You got 2 of the original 5 Teen Titans on a show. So, yeah, that stokes me out.
Well, Raven was still looking pretty badass, though.
I think she looks cool. I don't know. I mean...
Well, just some of the effects and stuff that they were using. But of course, we're going off of like a 2-minute trailer, so...
It's interesting to see that they're doing... they're clearly influenced by Teen Titans animated Raven than they are Marv Wolfman and George Perez Raven, but we'll see.
That wouldn't surprise me, because I think most people, like myself, when we had a conversation about Starfire, like, my introduction to Starfire and Raven and Beast Boy was because of the animated series, wasn't because of what was in comics.
I know, and there still has to be a happy medium.
Yeah, I agree.
Between the two, but I mean, again, we'll see. I am nervous. I'm not nearly as optimistic as I was, but it's still my favorite superhero team. It's still my favorite character. I'm still gonna give this a shot. I mean, Hawk and Dove still look amazing.
Oh yeah.
I am nervous about the level of violence on Dove's end, because the whole point of Hawk and Dove. Hawk is an agent of chaos, Dove is an agent of order. She's there to balance him. And seeing her be as violent as he is in those scenes kind of makes me feel like they don't get the characters. So...
But again, it's another one of those things. 2-minute trailer, missing context, so...
No, I get that, but even in the 2-minute trailer, Dove shouldn't be so, like, breaking limbs violent.
Well, yeah,
Hawk should be.
Maybe it's more important that you focus on that aspect of the character. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Well... I'll tell you what, while we're on the subject of the DC live-action series that'll be on their streaming service, another one you had mentioned to me was Doom Patrol.
Yeah, we've been talking about that for a couple months with the Titans. We've been talking about all the casting. There is an announcement now about the casting of Cyborg. So now we live in a world where there are 2 live-action Cyborgs. Jovian Wade is going to be playing Cyborg. He was in the first Purge, which, of all the Purges, that's the one I have not seen yet. But all of them I've liked so far, so I'm sure that's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, both he and Ray Fisher are playing cyborgs. So
maybe now that we're going to have 2 live-action cyborgs, can DC finally allow us to have 2 live-action Batman?
Nope. Never, ever, ever, ever will they give Batman away for free. As long as people are paying for Batman, you'll never get that.
Oh, man.
Yeah, but I'm a huge Doom Patrol fan. I love that they're going with a little bit of classic Doom Patrol and then like Morrison era Doom Patrol. So I think this is going to be fun. Smart money is it spins out of the Titans. They'll probably end up doing that one story arc from the Wolfman Perez run where the Doom Patrol is one by one getting killed off, and Beast Boy at that point in the comics he was called Changeling. Beast Boy is trying to get the Titans to find out what's going on because Beast Boy was a member of the Doom Patrol before he was a member of the Teen Titans. So hopefully they do something like that. That'll be kind of cool. Again, I mean, it's nice to live in a world where there's a Doom Patrol TV show. So, hopefully this is going to be good, but we'll see what happens.
Well, one of the things I wanted to ask you, since I did miss out on Comic-Con, was what your experience was like this year. Some of the stuff I know you were working part-time too, so you had a lot of work and stuff to do behind the scenes, but while you were there, what kind of things did you get to see? What was your experience like?
It was fun. It was always a good time, obviously.
I don't know if I'd say that. I've spent a lot of time waiting in lines that were way too long.
I don't wait in lines.
Yeah, I need to do that less.
No, it was packed, but everybody looked like they were having a blasty. I mean, what did I see? I got to see upcoming story arcs that I'm looking forward to, obviously, comics-wise. Always a sucker for upcoming toys, so that's a big one for me, getting to see upcoming Marvel Legends, upcoming DC Multiverse, Transformers, WWE Elite, all the stuff that I collect that I'm super into. So that's fun to see, but more than that, there are 2 things that really, really stoked me out as far as ComicCon goes. And one is seeing so many kids there. I loved seeing the seeds getting planted young. Everybody always talks about how print's going to go away, comics are going to go away. All kids do is play video games. You put a comic into a kid's hand, you put an action figure into a kid's hand, all that, they're going to have just as much fun with it as they are the video game. And it's just a matter of letting them experience it. And seeing these kids get excited about the cosplay and about the toys and getting free comic books and all that. That's what all this is about, you know?
Well, and especially younger kids, because to younger kids, sometimes the folks in cosplay, especially when it's really good cosplay,
that's the superhero.
That's them.
Yep.
I still have
and it should be.
I still have this memory of when I was a kid at Halloween and excited for Star Wars, and there was another kid dressed up as Yoda, and it was a cool costume, and like, of course, I think I was probably only like 5 years old, 6 years old, or something like that. And my mom likes to tell this story, but it was, you know, I didn't even say Yoda right, because I like little kid speak and stuff, and it came
Yogurt.
out. No, it came out more like Loda. It's like, look, it's Loda. He's a real guy. So I mean, that's really cool, because you get young kids and they see folks dressed up like this, and like you said, to them, these are the characters, and they got to meet that superhero, and it's so cool. And that's something that, you know, they may take with them for a long time.
And you hope that they do. I mean, that's one of my favorite things about con. The other thing that I love is seeing what has really become the 50-50 split between male and female fandom, and that there's something for everybody, and it really should be like that. But man, it's so exciting to see where the industry is moving. And you know, the industry is moving towards just this great sense of inclusivity, and that you can still tell all these really rad stories that you want to tell, no matter the genre, but it doesn't always have to be, you know, for the straight white male dude. And that's great. I want to see not just the creators, because the creators are good about it. I want to see more publishers take a little more ownership on that, and we're in a good place for that. And I think comics will only continue to move in a better place as that goes on. But it has to be, there has to be a sense of, I guess almost there has to be a sense of to go Brooklyn, everybody eats. You know, everybody gets to be a part of it.
Yeah.
So,
and I've often said with Comic-Con, it's so great, because where else can you get a picture of, you know, Superman standing next to, like, Samus from Metroid, standing next to Gandalf. A Stormtrooper, standing next to Gandalf. Like, these crazy worlds that collide. And something that's always stuck with me that's kind of cool is, even at Comic-Con, of course, you still have, in some cases, different levels of cliques. I think there's an overall sense of, like, camaraderie between people who, you know, dressed up in cosplay and like sharing experiences and seeing these things. But there's also still, like, a little bit of an underlying fandom competitiveness. And I think Kevin Smith said it best. It was kind of hilarious. At one of the things he said, Comic-Con, the only place where you can see a guy dressed up as a stormtrooper laughing over at a guy in a Star Trek costume going, ha, nerd.
Yeah. And, you know, it's cool, too, for everybody who talks about that the comics industry isn't what it used to be. Just remember, not everything becomes a movie, not everything becomes a video game, but almost everything becomes a comic book.
Yeah. Surprisingly so, yeah.
You know? It was a great experience this year. It was super cool to see so many friends get their panels out there and get to see old friends doing signings and stuff. Yeah, it was a blast. It was a really good time.
When you mentioned some of the upcoming story arcs that you got excited about, anything in particular you're really looking forward to?
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of cool stuff happening in, I've talked about it before, in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers comic. That's a lot of fun. There's a lot of rad stuff happening in the Marvel Universe proper. They're really starting to kind of create a Marvel Universe that's accessible to new readers and to longtime readers. We've talked about Jason Aaron's run on the Avengers. Now you've got Ta-Nehisi Coates and Lionel Yu on Captain America, and just all this stuff, you know, Nick Spencer and Ryan Otley on Amazing Spider-Man. So it's neat to see how everything feels old and new all at the same time. Brian Michael Bendis on Superman over at DC. I think while not every ship has been righted, it also feels like a lot of creators are doing what they can to make things accessible for everybody. It's going to be a solid year of comics. So, you know, I'm on board.
Well, and on that note, a segment that I definitely want us to keep going is the one where we say, hey, this is the comic you should be reading this week.
Yes.
So, which one is it this time?
Amazing Spider-Man, issue 2. So, Nick Spencer and Ryan Otley are working on Amazing Spidey right now. and it's awesome. It's so much fun. I know for a lot of people, when you say Nick Spencer, the first thing that they think is Hydra Captain America, but, you know, everybody had kind of a knee-jerk reaction to one part of a 5-6 part story arc, and they made their opinion on something that, again, no context on. Nick Spencer is a solid writer. If you read his Superior Foes of Spider-Man about, 6-7 years ago, about all of like the B-C level Spidey villains as a team together, it was so much fun. It was such a cool book. And now he's on Amazing Spidey, and one of those villains in there, Boomerang, is Peter Parker's roommate. So you've got a villain and a hero living together. And Peter knows that, who Boomerang is, but he can't let him know that he knows, otherwise it, plays his hand as Spidey. And they're living with Randy Robertson, Joe Robertson from the Bugle's son. So it's a lot of fun, it's really cool, and it's cool to see that Boomerang is not just, a crappy villain, but he's also a really crappy roommate. So it's been a lot of fun. It's nice to see the comedic aspect to Spidey books again. It's nice to see the Parker luck back. Things aren't going so good for Peter's life, but the Spidey life is good. But then, of course, the Spidey life goes bad, so that means the Peter life has got to go good. So, spoiler alert, in the first issue, by the very end, we finally get something back that fans have been wanting for years. And I'm gonna, give you guys a moment. If you're gonna mute us, 5, 4, 3, 2. Peter and Mary Jane are back together again. So it's really, 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 really exciting. And I think this is going to be a great way for Nick Spencer to kind of endear himself to fans who look at his work and think, oh no, this is that guy, blah, blah, blah. It's awesome. Ryan Otley, for years was on Invincible and was doing just fabulous work on there. And in 2 issues, he's doing the best work of his career. It's so cool to see a comic book artist who has not fallen out of love with comics and is getting to work on his favorite character and is not just putting his best foot forward, he's throwing his whole body in there. So, even if you feel kind of, done with Spider-Man, you feel kind of bored with him, this is such a great jumping on point for old and new fans alike. I think everybody's really going to groove on it, and it's just fun. Oh, and Kingpin's the mayor of New York right now, so that's really cool. So he's going to be screwing with Spider-Man on, a mayoral level. And you remember the real last time that, Peter and the Kingpin had words with one another was during Back in Black a few years back. Maybe 6-7 years ago. And when Peter, soundly kicked the ever-living snot out of the Kingpin in front of the majority of New York City's crime world. So, Kingpin's going to be wanting some revenge. So, it's fun stuff, and it's nice to just read Spider-Man that's fun. So, I know a lot of people like Dan Slott's work. I liked a lot of Dan Slott's Spider-Man, but I felt that he was on the book maybe a little too long. So, there was a lot of peaks and valleys. Some stuff was still fun. Other stuff felt kind of stale, but I'm ready for a fresh perspective on Spider-Man, and I think Nick Otley's bringing it.
Sweet. Well, there you have it.
Whip.
And on that note, we're going to end this month's Comic Shop Talk. Thanks for sticking with us. Hope you enjoyed it.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, till next time. Adios.